Hello friends, Real Show Gang, Tharries here, and welcome back to yet another one of these Doctor Who Reddit leak videos. Now, I was originally going to be doing one on a Nigelic couch Reddit leak, but I decided against that one on the basis that it had some things in it that I just didn't think were appropriate for one of these videos, because I'd like to try and keep the tone light and jovial, and I just don't feel comfortable joking about those things on this channel. However, with that being said, I managed to find an even better leak, which goes into even more detail on r/Doctor Who leaks. But before we get into today's leak, I've got two things I want to share. First off, we've got another Doctor Who leak thumbnail coming from friend of the channel, Willogs. Here we go, it says Tom wants an OnlyFans, with me looking very sus in the window there, and with my pog face. Thank you to Willogs for that thumbnail. If you want to send in your own thumbnail, be sure to send them in to tharries21@gmail.com and they will be featured in the next leak video. But more importantly than that, I need you to subscribe. I'm not going to give you the whole spiel, but we're trying to get to 10k by the end of the year, and we're not going to get there by you not subscribing. So if you could just click that subscribe button, if you do enjoy this video, that would be greatly appreciated. But let's get into today's Reddit leak. It's also worth bearing in mind that, none of this is fact. This is just a bit of fun. So this is from Crimson King, who I believe did some of the previous leaks. So he's got a history of leaking things. Whether they're correct or not, we don't know. I know I've already read the episode titles earlier today. We haven't done that yet, but I think I might get into that after this leak. But I wanted to get this out there as well. Alright, I was planning on holding off on this, but given the vast plethora of questions I've gotten asking very specific, in-depth details about the overall story of the Timeless Child and the Division, I'm going to go ahead and lay everything out. Do be warned that what you may read is the biggest spoiler you can in terms of Chibnall's plan for the story. So yeah, everyone at home, you've been warned. Potential spoilers ahead. So you've been warned. This is going to be a long one, but you did all ask for details. Before I begin, I need to give some context as well as a minor history lesson about how Chibnall is wanting his plan to unravel, as well as Gallifrey's official and unofficial history. So it's no secret that Chibnall is a fan of taking aspects from other showrunners and trying to spin them into his own take of their ideas. One idea in particular was always something Chibnall was very interested in, as it helped bring a new perspective to Doctor Who. Even as a fan of the show back in its classic run, he was very critical about the show's storytelling in a more safe approach. This was something he wanted to change, and something he had in mind from the very moment the showrunner job was in sight. The one idea that has inspired Chibnall more than anything for this plot twist he has devised comes from the infamous Cartmel master plan, in which it would paint the Doctor in a completely new light from the Time Lord who simply ran away from home. It's interesting actually, because Andrew Cartmel has spoken briefly on his thoughts on the Timeless Child, and he has said that this isn't the direction he wanted to take it, so that is interesting that despite Chibnall taking inspiration from the Cartmel master plan, he's doing his different thing with it that Andrew Cartmel doesn't agree with. I just thought that was interesting. Now, until the events of the Timeless Children, the history of Gallifrey was rather simple. A species of humanoid creatures known as Shobogans evolved and became the dominant species of their world, eventually leading to minor exploration into space, where they would come into contact with the vampires, leading to a war that would last for eons. During this time, there were three prominent members of the Shobogan Society, Rassilon, Omega, and the Other. Together, they helped shape Time Lord Society. Rassilon became the first Time Lord president, Omega was consumed by the black hole, used to grant Time Lords the ability to time travel, and the other was lost to the annals of history. And after the Great Schism, Gallifreyans were unable to reproduce naturally, leading to the development of a new artificial reproduction device known as looms. Ah yes, the good old looms. So this is basically the origin story as it's told in the Cartmel Master Plan / Virgin New Adventures. It was then told that Rassilon himself helped modulate Time Lord genetics to create regeneration as we know it today. Obviously, there seems to be much more different story after the revelation at the end of Series 12, according to the Matrix, that the Master claimed to find. There was an explorer known as Tecteun who found a mysterious child over a vortex. This child would prove to have a unique ability to regenerate. Tecteun then took this finding and was able to give herself the genetic ability to regenerate, helping thrust Time Lord Society. But this begs several questions that had yet to be answered. What happened to Tecteun? Where was the Timeless Child during the events of the Dark Days of Gallifrey, leading to when they seemingly became the first Doctor millions of years later? And what was the deal with the Time Lord Division files that were erased from the Matrix? What exactly is the Division? Not everything the Doctor was told was true. Some of it was, but not all. The real origins of Gallifrey, as well as the truth of the Timeless Child and the Division, is as follows. Oh god, we're getting into it now. During the space travels of Tecteun, she did come across a lone child above a vortex of an unknown origin. She adopted the child and discovered that they had the ability to regenerate, and began performing tests that led to the successful first regeneration of herself. However, at the time she was ready to present her findings, Rassilon had begun the purge of Shobogan society. with his followers to begin the institution of a new regime to which he would lead himself. Together, Tecteun, Rassilon, and Omega began devising how to make their people the greatest and most powerful civilization in the universe. However, it was a civilization that Rassilon wanted to rule, and not share the power with anyone. He was the one who devised the sabotage of Omega to be lost forever after his successful creation of the Eye of Harmony. When Tecteun saw that was happening, they realized how mad Rassilon was becoming and devised a way to escape his grasp. They used what little influence they had left to create the division. We'll cover that in just a moment. After its creation, using their genetic powers, they created the first ever chameleon arch and stole one of the first prototype TARDISes escaping in the vortex. Given that the TARDIS itself was extremely unstable, it flung Tecteun hundreds of years into the past. Before it fell apart, Tecteun used the chameleon arch to rewrite her DNA away from that of a Time Lord to avoid genetic tracing by Rassilon, and confronted into the genetic makeup of an alien child they had cared for all those years. As the TARDIS broke apart within the vortex, mid-materialization, a tear in reality opened up on the barren world they tried to escape to, with no memory of their past life, being mortally wounded and still having the ability to regenerate after being moulded after the genetic makeup of the child. Tecteun regenerated, transforming themselves into a body of a young child who would later be found by their past self and brought back to Gallifrey for study. Right, so let me get this completely straight. The Timeless Child is a paradox, because Tecteun finds herself at the boundary and through all these years later time travels back, reverts herself to a child, only to then be found again by Tecteun.
Don't know, I've gone cross-eyed.
This is some Stephen Moffat level timey-wimey hijinks going on, and while it's really well written by the Reddit poster, do I believe it'll happen? Who knows? But let's carry on. Now, as for what happened to the child, Tecteun dismembered the child into their basic DNA components, combined with pure Time Lord DNA, placed them into a loom reproductive system to eventually be reincarnated at a future point in time where Rassilon and his power hunger was no longer a threat. In order to ensure the safe loom restoration of the child, the division was created. The division itself is basically a secret Illuminati-like society. To help maintain the protection of future looming of the child, they created a division within the Matrix telling an alternate split history of the Timeless Child, to make it look as if the child was simply an alien from another universe, and that Tecteun had been lost forever, never to be named by Rassilon again, making it appear to the rest of Time Lord society as if Tecteun had simply ran away and was lost to the vortex forever. Over time, the division eroded away after millions of years, until one single member remained, Barusa. Eventually, this final member would initiate the looming process, giving birth to what would appear to be a simple Gallifreyan to the rest of the planet, with no one knowing that it was indeed the reincarnation of Tecteun, who still had no memory of anything whatsoever. To fulfill this oath, he would go on to protect this child, even going as far as to tutor them, and giving them a place in the academy, where the child would go on to take on the name of the Doctor. So this is where the more Cartmel master planning elements are coming in, because in the VNAs and the Cartmel master plan, the Doctor is a reincarnation of the other, whereas here, the Doctor is a reincarnation of Tecteun. I hope you're keeping up, because this is a lot. But I will say, this, again, it's one of those things that could just be put together by fans, although this does seem extremely detailed to just be a fan theory. In terms of the Master and Gallifrey being destroyed, the plan was initiated by Rassilon, who knew what the Matrix said about the Timeless Child simply being an alien from another universe and being the Doctor. He manipulated the Master into discovering that data in the Matrix, knowing that it would lead to the Master destroying the planet, therefore giving Rassilon the ultimate revenge on the people he helped create, after betraying him to the Doctor in Hellbent. Okay, so this fits with a lot of the things we've been hearing so far about, Rassilon trying to enact revenge, putting the Timeless Child revelations in there, doctored to basically get revenge on not only, the Doctor, but also the Master. Now, to answer thy mystery of the Morbius Doctors as well as the Ruth Doctor. I don't know the entire story, as that mystery is still going to be explored for the series until the 60th anniversary, but from what little I do know, it appears that the Ruth Doctor is in between 2 and 3 and helped the division in some grand operation, leading to their ultimate defeat and purged regeneration to carry out their original exile on Earth as the 3rd Doctor. This is how the continuity is ensured as to why the Ruth Doctor still travels in a TARDIS disguised as the police public call box. So there you have it. In terms of the Timeless Child, Chibnall has combined both a rendition of the ideas in the Cartmel Master Plan as well as the Bootstrap Paradox to open the doors to a plethora of storyline possibilities for the future of Doctor Who. Wow, that was a lot. Do I think this will happen? I have no idea. I will say, if nothing else, it was a really well written bit of fiction from the part of the Reddit poster. What I will say though is that if the Doctor is reborn from Tecteun, it does sort of preserve that idea of the Doctor being special, which I really don't like. But, playing devil's advocate, if Tecteun was the basis for all future Time Lords, that would just make the Doctor another one of them, which wouldn't be nearly as bad as her being the entire sort of genesis of the Time Lords, if you like. Thank you for joining me on this very long Reddit leak video. If you did enjoy, be sure to give it a like, comment down below your thoughts, because I can guarantee that you all are going to have a lot of thoughts on this one, and subscribe if you're new. Thank you for watching, and I will see you later.